Hi, I will be discussing in this presentation about the major concepts and principles of digital libraries. There are three specific learning outcomes for this week. One is we are going to describe the common principles and concepts of digital library. Second, I will be presenting and discussing with you the different frameworks of digital library. And the fourth is the roles, the functions, and the services of digital library. Now, let me share with you my presentation. Okay, now before we start, I want you to reflect the following questions. What are the major challenges would be encountered when making a digital library with the same content? How would library users benefit and in what ways would they suffer? Given that limited resources were available, what kinds of material would you choose to digitize first? What might an electronic analog of the present library catalog or do you like? What additional searching and browsing possibilities might the digital library offer? And in what ways would your digital library differ from the World Wide Web? And last question to reflect, why do people with access to the web need digital library? I hope you can reflect that question and I hope that at the end of this video, you can revisit again your reflections and be able to modify what you have reflected. So what is a digital library? There are actually varying and several terms of digital library, and among this is it is electronic. It refers to virtual library, network accessible libraries, or the libraries without walls. Libraries without walls because the term without walls actually refers to the World Wide Web. The term digital library actually coined from the National Information Infrastructure Initiative, and this was discussed during the history or the last week. And digital library is now called digital library, but originated from the term electronic library. Digital libraries are set, meaning a collection of electronic resources and associated technical capabilities for the three main functions, creation, search, and the usage of information. So again, it is a group of interrelated electronic resources associated into one with a common purpose of creating, searching, and using information. Digital libraries are constructed, collected, and organized by a community of users and their functional capabilities in support to the information needs and uses of that community. In other words, digital libraries um, are created for a group of users in the community. That means it is not necessarily that your digital library can cater all types of users in the community. It might be very specific or it might be on a certain group of people. Now, what are the characteristics of digital library? The first one is selection of resources according to the criteria relevant to the digital library mission. Because as I mentioned, not all content naman that you can curate or that you can create or search in a particular digital library. Services to facilitate the use of resources by the target community. That's the one I mentioned that you cannot actually cater all forms or all types or all groups of users. It is collaborative. It allows users to contribute knowledge and reuse resources. So curation actually will come in. contextual features enabling the relationship between the resources. Now, there are selected concepts of digital library, which is very significant also for us in learning the concept of digital libraries. The first author, it's coming from the Association of Research Libraries. According to them, the digital library has a not it is not a single entity, and it is control um, and accumulation of digital objects, and it is an enabling network technology. What is the emphasis for this in this concept? Digital nature of collections, it access full text documents, and it has universal access. The second concept, way back in 1995 also, the digital library is composed of, or it is described as a network information system. I think you know already what is an information system. It is network, meaning computers are connected to each other, data are can be accessed can be accessed by one station to another because they are actually network. And when you say network, local area network, metropolitan area network, or the wide area network, which is the worldwide. And according to facts, the digital library during this time is composed of information resources. It has new ways to organize, and there was also new ways to access and retrieve the information. Why new? Because during those times, the retrieval and the access is through digital or ICT. And the emphasis during this time is distributed network, and then the information retrieval and the extended access to information resources. The third concept of digital library is it refers to organization according to the Digital Library Federation. It's composed of organization where in this organization is equivalent to the distributed digital resources, and then of course there are also staff and other library services. What is the emphasis during this time is digital library are considered as the extension of traditional libraries as an organization, and the traditional library roles and services are expanded through the digital library services. Another multifaceted perspective in 1999, where digital libraries is comprised of digital resources, associated technical capabilities, network distribution, and the user-centered approach, which is basically when you say user-centered, the services is focused into providing support to the need of our patrons or users. The emphasis here is digital format and enabling technologies, or there is a so-called community of users where each member of the community support to each other. That means they provide information, they contributed information to the digital library. Another perspective on digital library is by ARMS in 2000, where it emphasizes the network, emphasizes on the curation, curatorial responsibility, such as specifically very careful, thorough in the selection, organization, and the preservation of the content, and well, obviously, the services of the user. In terms of the component of the library, it is comprises of digital format again, associated services, and network access, similar to the previous perspective. Witten and Brainbridge also in 2003 highlighted that in this concept, digital libraries must emphasize on the selection, organization, and maintenance of the information. No, and there are new ways of creating knowledge. In relation to components, Witten and Bridge emphasizes that digital resources are are produced in multiple modes of representation in metadata and method for access and retrieval. I will explain further metadata as we reach or as we go on into our discussion. Bishop et al. Also in 2003 stated that the digital library components during this time is a socio-technical system. What does it mean? It means that it is a combination of network of technology, information, the documents, people behavior, people social structures, and the practices of the people. Wherein the concept behind here, the emphasis is not only on the digital technology, but as well as the knowledge work of the people, the societal practices, and user-centeredness approach of the services. Another one, the recent one, is in 2005 by Lagozzi et al. And then they highlighted actually here the new information model going beyond search and access. That means it's not just simply searching, but it's more of the collaborative and contextual environment. Contextual in the sense that it has different meaning according to usage, according to the need, and according to the relevancy and appropriateness. And here the components of the digital library according to Lagozzi et al. Multi-layered resource-centric model wherein it comprises of a network of selected resources, structural and semantic relationship. In 2014 also, there is an emphasis here of the open access. No, this is the time where we can download, we can get information freely because they support for the advancement of knowledge and culture. So digital libraries here are systems already and services, plus the managed collection, repository, and much more of the repository-centered architecture. Okay, so those are the different concepts. There are many concepts, but what is present today is open accessibility and then digital technology, which comprises on the selection, organization, and uh, the maintenance and access of the content in the digital library.